Okay, so today I'm going to bleach this wig. I'm going to watercolor this wig, and I'm going to install this wig.
Bleaching.com. I've had the rest of you, now I want the best of you. I don't care if that's not fair.
So I'm starting off with the bleaching, and the way that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do a bleach bath. So what you see me doing is dumping a bunch of developer into my bucket, and then I'm going to add the BW2 bleach into it. Right now I'm just using up all the developer that I have. I will say what I learned from trying this is that you really want to make this as strong as possible, because you're going to add water to it and dilute it. But as you can see, this first round I was using a 20. I believe I used the 20, the 50, and the 40 the first time around. So another thing, I really didn't take no measurements. I kind of just winged it and eyeballed it. So you see me dumping a bunch of the BW2 bleach in with my developers. So here I just went ahead and started mixing the bleach with the developer. If you decide to try this method, it is important to mix your bleach and your developer first and then add the water, and don't add too much water. Like, slowly add a little bit of water at a time. So here, as you can see, I did go ahead and add some more bleach to my mixture just to make it a little stronger. Okay, so at this point, my mixture, my bleach and my developer is all mixed up pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some water in here, as you can see, just to thin out the solution and make it easier for it to grasp through all the strands of the hair. And I just want to emphasize to make sure that you're adding a little bit of water at a time. Do not pour a whole bucket of water in there, because your bleach and developer solution is going to clump up, and it's going to be very hard for you to mix it and get rid of those clumps. Now it's time to dip the wig. This is a 22-inch exotic curly wig, 5x5 closure wig from the Wig Dealer. And I gotta say, I don't have anything negative to say about this wig. I think that before I bleached it, it was a little bit curlier, and I think the bleach might have straightened it out a little bit, or I don't know if it would have been like that had I not bleached it. But regardless, I love this wig, and yeah, 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Okay, so at this point, what you see me doing, I am brushing through the wig with this detangler brush, just to get the bleach and the developer coated throughout all of the strands. And then I'm just gonna let the wig sit and soak for a while, and then I'll come back and show y'all what it looks like after that. So once I felt like the hair was fully saturated, and as you can see, the solution is starting to turn like a creamier color. So I felt like it was starting to work. So at that point, I decided to just stick the whole wig in the bucket and just let it sit for a while. So then I decided to cover it in foil because that's what you do when you bleach your hair. You cover it in foil to trap in the heat and help it to process faster. I don't know why I hadn't thought about that earlier, but it just dawned on me. So I don't remember exactly how long I allowed that to sit and soak for, but this is when I came back to check on it. Now, while I will say that the wig was obviously lighter, it wasn't the dark jet black anymore. I didn't feel like the wig was light enough for my liking. So I did go in and do this whole bleach bath all over again for a second round. I went ahead and sped this part up because I'm literally just repeating the same process. As you can see, the hair is lighter, but I wanted it lighter, so I'm working through with the bleach with my brush. I only used the 50 developer this time, so this solution is a lot stronger than the first one. So all in all, I probably let this wig soak the second time for about 30 minutes, and then after that I was just done. Like I said, this was the night before my trip, so I didn't really have time, but I got the job done and I was satisfied, and the wig came out amazing. Okay, so this is what the wig looked like once I was done bleaching it. Don't judge it, y'all. It came out really, really good. I know it look a little crazy right now, but the color is gonna take really well. It ended up bleaching to like a honey blonde color. Okay, so now it's time to watercolor the wig, and the colors that I'm gonna be using are cinnamon, French cognac, and I also use a truly red. I'm not sure if I showed it on camera. So y'all know how watercoloring works. You put hot water in a bucket and you put your colors in there, and you mix it up real good, and then you can dip your hair in there a couple times and the hair will pick up the color, whatever color that you use. Anytime you're trying to get a ginger like color, you need to put some red in it. You can't just use all the orange colors. And now I'm just mixing it up. You want to make sure all the colors are mixed completely, and make sure it dissolves. Like, you need to make sure the rinse dissolves in the water, so it's like no clumps in the water, because those clumps could stick to the hair and then you'll have like a blotchy spot or whatever on your hair. Okay, so now I'm just gonna dip the wig. It's pretty easy. Just dip it several times, turn it around, turn it to the back, turn it to the side. Don't just hold it from like the lace and dip it. Like, dip it from a bunch of different angles. Like, turn it around a lot because you need to make sure that everything is fully coated. Now, unfortunately, my camera died at this point, so I can't show y'all like everything, but I didn't really do much but dip it, and I didn't make any new water or anything. This was the only water I used. So just dip it, keep dipping it, dip it as much as you think you need to till you get the color that you want. After I finished watercoloring the hair, I went ahead and conditioned it, and then I let it dry overnight. So what you're seeing now is basically the hair combed out after air drying. Um, And now I'm just taking a wax stick and going through sections of the lace and applying the wax stick and then hot combing it. This is just to make the wig really flat on the top. And as you can see, the color really took to the hair. Even though I didn't get it that light, I got it to like a honey blonde color, but the colors that I used really did take, and it made it just really bright and vibrant, and I was very satisfied with the results. Okay, she is flat. This is what the wig looks like once I finish going through with the wax stick and the hot comb. She is flat on the top and she's gonna lay super flat on my head. Y'all just wait and see. Okay, y'all, so now it's time to put this wig on my head. This is only my second time putting a wig on, so this video is very beginner friendly, but I feel like I did a really good job, and this Wig Dealer wig is just the bomb, and it made it super easy to do. The glue that I'm using is Ghost Bond glue, and I'm just going to spread it across the front of my forehead, right before my wig cap, and then a little bit on top of my wig cap. And I did 3 layers of glue, and I let it dry in between each layer. Like I said, this was my second time doing this, and I just did that because that's what I saw in all the other videos. But lately, when I've been putting this wig on my head, sometime I will just use 2 layers and keep it pushing. Alright, so now I'm going in with my second layer of glue. It's very important to make sure that your glue dries completely clear in between each layer. So after the first layer, you need to make sure it dries down clear, like you can see right here on this layer. And I'm going into my third layer of glue, but each time you need to make sure it dries clear. It's not going to be completely dry, it's going to be like a little bit tacky. Okay, so it's time to put the wig on. So right now I'm just combing the baby hairs out the way because I don't want them to get stuck in the glue. Okay, so before I cut the lace off, I'm just going to use my elastic band that I actually got from the Wig Dealer as well. And I'm going to wrap that around to melt my lace. Okay, so at this point the glue has dried on the lace, so I took the band off, and now I'm just plucking my part just to define it. Be careful not to over pluck your part because I think I might have done that a little bit, but it still turned out okay. I think this was a pre-pluck lace, but to get the definition I wanted in my part, I had to go in and pluck that. So now I'm sectioning out my baby hairs, and I'm going to do a little extra plucking on the edges just behind my baby hairs. And I did do this on both sides, but I think I only showed this one side on camera, and I just did this to just thin it out a little bit on the side so it can lay a little bit flatter. Now I'm just cutting the lace. I moved my baby hairs back so I wouldn't cut them, and I'm just being very, very careful to cut that lace. Once I cut off that extra lace, I went ahead and cut my baby hairs a little bit shorter, and now I'm going to lay my baby hairs. I'm not going to do a lot of baby hairs. I'm not a professional, so I'm using my mousse to lay my baby hairs, and that's what you see me doing. I have my edge brush. One thing I did learn, after you use your mousse to lay your baby hairs, it's good to use like some Got2b glue spray just to hold them in place. That really helps a lot. And I gotta be honest, at first I wasn't really a fan of baby hairs, but after installing this wig myself, I just see the difference that it makes. It just brings the wig to life and make it look less like a wig.
れによってあなたたちは苦しさから解き放たれるのでしょう。もう絶えずとも良いのです。
Alright, so I almost forgot about my concealer. This is another step you can do to define your part. So I'm just using my concealer to put in there on my part to give it more definition, and as y'all will see, it's gonna be just bomb. So I went ahead and just left this wig like this for the night because it was late. But this is a curly wig, so I did the next day put some water and some mousse on it to make it curly, and that just made it so fire. Like, it just took it to the next level. I'm going to insert some pictures and videos so that y'all can see what it looked like once I wet it and put the mousse on it.